Good morning this morning, and welcome to Shit Ain't the Same. My name is Rochelle Hunter Mosley, and if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are a regular, I appreciate your support. Make sure you guys subscribe below. Just take a minute and subscribe. I definitely need your support. So today I wanted to talk about real estate. And the reason why I want to talk about real estate is because people are so confused about what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And especially, I'm a woman of a certain age, and I haven't bought in over 15 years. I was a homeowner maybe 15 years ago, and I haven't bought in about 15 years. So I'm just thinking, like, what are my what am I to do right now? I'm just so confused, especially with this economy. So I invited my friend Taliah to talk to me today about what my opportunities are, what can I do, what I should do, what I shouldn't do, and I hope you guys get a lot out of this. And make sure you watch it, subscribe, and share. So Taliah,
Hello. Again.
we back on the couch.
Yes, we're back. We're back on the couch.
Back on the couch.
My name is Taliah Karim. I am the broker owner of TK Real Estate Group. And I service New Jersey and New York and Metro Atlanta, newly servicing the Metro Atlanta area. Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. So I'm getting a lot of questions, right? And the first question that I'm getting, the first question that I have is this a good time to buy?
That's everybody's question. Nowadays, especially because of the economy. And it's also, I feel like, it's a lot of noise on social media, in the news. So people are confused. And I always say, any good experienced realtor will tell you, it's an individual situation. It's not it's not a cookie cutter, situation. So it's a good time to buy when you have the affordability. That's when it's a good time to buy. So you don't want to worry about the interest rates. You want to worry about what is comfortable for you. Can you afford to buy now? If you can afford to buy now, it's a good time to buy. Absolutely.
Okay, so talking about affording to buy, because I was talking to one of my homeboys and he was like, "Oh, you don't need no money to buy. You don't need no money." So is that true?
No, that's not true. That's not true. You need some money. You're gonna need some money. Now, as a first-time home buyer, yes, there are grant programs that can assist with down payment and closing costs.
Okay.
But you still should have something. You can't have zero. Now, there's a lot of situations where, some clients may end up getting money back at the table. I had a client a few months ago that got money back at the table that did not have to come out of pocket at all. Got her down payment back. But you should at least have some money saved. You don't want to rely completely, because down payment assistance programs are based on availability. They're not, or it also depends on the lender you're going to be using. There are a lot of variables. So you don't want to go into it with $0. Like, I'm a first time home buyer and I'm going to get, all the grants are going to, I'm going to get grants and that's going to be enough for me for my down payment and my closing costs. You do have things like the home inspection that you have to pay for out of pocket, so there are things that your credit report, there's certain things that you have to pay for up front. So you do want to have some sort of money saved.
Okay. So I want to talk about this thing I heard about when you say money back at the table. So when that person got the money back at the table, was it a builder's incentive?
No, it wasn't a builder's incentive.
Okay.
It was a down payment program.
So what is a builder's incentive?
A builder's incentive is basically concessions that they give based on whatever. Every builder is different. So it's going to depend on whatever that builder is offering. But sometimes they'll have some sort of concession for appliance packages. They'll have, they'll pay closing costs. So every builder is different. That what they offer is going to be different. But that is usually what builder incentive is. It's going to be some sort of concession, some sort of credit that they're offering the buyer.
Okay. So I know most realtors or people that's in real estate will say when the interest rate is high, then the cost is low, and when the cost is low, the interest rate is high, or vice versa, or whatever. Can you explain that? Because I hear it all the time, but what does it really mean if you ain't got no damn money?
So here's the thing. When generally, right, when interest rates are high, there are going to be less buyers on the market.
Okay.
Right? So because people are they like to time, people think that you can time the market.
Right.
When you're talking about stock investing, different types of investing, people think that they can time things. You can't.
Right.
But generally when, when interest rates are higher, there are less buyers on the market. And then when interest rates decrease, people flood the market. They rush to the market. Right? So that causes a influx of the pool of buyers that are now looking to buy a home. So now your competition increases, right? So people always want to wait until interest rates lower. But you have to remember that buying a home is a financial investment. It's a smart, you have to make a smart financial decision, right? So you have to think about it in a numbers game, right? If interest rates are a little higher and there are less buyers on the market. Let's say the home list price is $500,000 and you go to place an offer on this home. There's no one else that's placing an offer on this home. Don't you think that you're going to have a little more flexibility with the seller? You're going to have a little bit more, the cards are going to be, the ball will be in your court a little bit more. You'll have a little bit more opportunity to negotiate on in your best interest. Right. So, but when interest rates are lower and you have a bunch of buyers on the market looking to, purchase homes, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have, competition, on a home. In 2022, I was representing a seller. One of my clients was a seller, and one of the buyer that purchased the home, his agent told me he was moving his family from Brooklyn to Jersey. And his agent told me that we were the 36th house that they put an offer in on. The 36th. So they put 36 offers in and did not win 35 offers previously and did not win any of those bids. There were times in that I was in multiple offer situations with 15 and 16 other buyers. Do you understand that if the list price is $500,000 and there are 15 other people bidding on that house, you're not going to get the house for $500,000. You're going to probably be paying $550,000, $560,000, depends on how bad you want it. During those times, we saw people paying over $100,000 over the list price.
Because they really wanted the house.
Because they really wanted the house. So now they're overpaying. I'm not, you should have some sort of discernment on your own, but your realtor should also make sure you're not overpaying for the home, right? So make sure the market value, at least if you're going to be paying $75,000 over the list price, at least the market value should support that. Homes should at least be selling for that price point, and you're not overpaying for the house, because now you're going to be, negative equity. Now you're going to have to wait to build equity, So I always tell people you have to look at that. So think about it. If you're buying a home, if the interest rates are a little higher, you're bidding on a $500,000 home, you get the home for $495 because you put your offer in, you went a little lower because there are no other bids there, so you have a little bit more room for negotiation, and you win the offer at $495. You then let's compare it to, that same $500,000 home that now you were bidding against 15 other buyers, and now you had to put an offer at $550,000, $560,000, and you actually, you won the bid at $560,000.
Right.
You paid more for the house. The house price doesn't change.
Right.
The person A paid $495,000, person B paid $550,000.
Right.
$560,000 or whatever the number, right? So you paid more for the house even though your interest rates are lower. And interest rates always fluctuate. You can always refinance up to a lower rate when interest rates do decrease.
Right.
But you can't change the house price. So you have to think about it like that. You can't change the house price. If you pay $550,000 for the house and the other person down the street paid $500,000 for theirs, your price is $550,000 and it's not going to change.
It's not going to change.
But that interest rate that that person that paid $550,000 for, okay, you may have had a 3.5%, and the person that paid $495,000 may have had a 6% interest rate. But when interest rates go down to 4%, they're just going to refi out and then get that lower interest rate.
Right.
So you have to think about it over time. When you pay more for the home, you're paying more over time as opposed to the person that paid less for the home with the higher interest rate, because they have more flexibility. They can refi, they can do things that's going to, when interest rates, lower, they can come out of that higher payment now. So that's what people have to think about. You think about the long game. This is a long game. Real estate is the long game. So don't think about now. People are always worried about, oh my goodness, interest rates are high. Now, I do understand some people are at a disadvantage where higher interest rates literally takes them out of the buyer market. They can't buy because they were already stretched thin, right? They have a budget of $3,000 a month for a mortgage. That interest rates now takes them into, if it was, let's just say, at the 7% interest rate, it took them to $3,500.
Right.
But at a 5%, they were at 3. So now they cannot, because they're saying, I'm comfortable at $3,000 a month, right? Because that's what you should always be thinking about. What is my monthly budget? What am I comfortable paying? So I understand that it does take people. So those are not the people that I'm talking to. Those people, yes, when interest rates are a little higher, you may have to sit back. You may have to, renew your lease and save more money, and you have to wait it out a little bit more, hoping that something changes. Those people, or, you can there's a lot of ways to get creative. You have a great realtor like me.
Right.
We can discuss some options, generational family, buying a home where it's not just you and your family. Maybe your parents move in, those are options. So maybe buying a multifamily home, a 2-family home, you live in one unit with your family and you rent the other unit out so that income goes towards your mortgage.
But I like when you said about being okay with falling back.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, and I just feel like, these 2 words that I've been dealing with for the past 3 months, desperate and thirsty.
Desperate and thirsty.
I've been dealing with these 2 words. And it's like, it keeps showing up because sometimes I want things so badly.
It's true.
And I'm so desperate to have these things.
Yes.
I'm so thirsty to have these things that I find myself in a place that I don't want to be in.
Yes.
So don't be too desperate and thirsty to have this home.
I'm telling you.
And find yourself in a place that you cannot pull yourself out of.
Absolutely. I have that conversation with my clients all the time. Actually, when I send clients to my lender partners, I don't have them I don't say you go get a pre-approval. I tell them, my lender partner knows he has that conversation with them anyway. But what I tell them is to focus on your monthly comfortability. What is your monthly budget? Have that conversation with him. He's going to ask you, but make sure you reiterate and make sure you're transparent. I cannot go over set amount.
Right.
Once you tell him that amount, based on where the home, what area of your interest, he's going to tell me what that purchase price should be, right? Because if you're going to be, if your max monthly budget is $3,000 and you're looking, let's say, to purchase in, somewhere in Hudson County, he's going to tell you these are not exact numbers. 3,000 is pretty low for Hudson County. Yes, exactly. Not at all. Oh. But he's going to say, based on the area that you're interested in, he's going to say, okay, Taliah, she's looking, this is what her monthly budget is. Rochelle's monthly budget is $3,000. You're going to be looking around the $250,000 range for her. Because it's based on taxes as well, right? Because if you're looking in an area that is, let's just say you were moving out, down south, where taxes are a little lower, or just an area of Jersey where taxes are a little lower, you're gonna have more of a purchase price. So you'll have a higher purchase price, right? Because it depends on the taxes, because the taxes are a part of your mortgage. Right. So that is what you want to focus on, your monthly budget. So I always tell clients, stay focused on that. Keep in line with that, and I was having a conversation with a colleague, and they're in mortgage. They're in the mortgage lending industry. And they were saying that people always, they get into these situations where, oh my God, my mortgage, increased. This happened and this happened. But the problem is that people are not honest. You were thirsty to get the house. And people, a lot of times, this is what people do too. They have this idea in their mind where this is the house. This is what the house is going to look like. Here, it has to be this. Right. And when that doesn't pan out, they don't want to pivot. They don't want to be flexible. Yep. They don't want to sidestep a little bit, because it's okay to take a step back to get to where you have to go. Take a step, not necessarily back, but to the side, laterally, right? Okay, I may have to take a little step, maybe take, instead of I'm going from 1 to 2, maybe I have to go 1 to 1.2,
Right.
to 1.3 to 1, before I get to 2.
Exactly.
And I always tell clients, you have to be flexible. You have, especially when you don't have a huge budget and you don't have endless, an endless income or a very, very high income, a lot of money for maybe a down payment or money to put towards the purchase price.
Right.
These things matter. Yeah. So you have to be flexible. If your goal is home ownership, then that's another thing. What is your why? Like, why do you want to buy a house? Do you want to buy a house because people say you should buy a house?
Right.
What is your why?
I'm going to be honest with you. Now that we're talking about this why, right? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't want to buy a house.
And that's okay.
I don't want to buy a house.
That's okay.
However, when I am, I've been a hairstylist for over 30 years, right? And I see my older clients. I don't want to be at a situation either that I'm paying $3,000, $4,000
in mortgage
for my living, for my living expense,
for leasing.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm 53 right now. In the next 15, 20 years, I don't know if I'm going to have the same energy to be able to sustain that type of rent. So that's why I'm having that conversation with you often to keep my head on straight.
Right.
And I know I'm calling you often because I just want to keep my head on straight as to what I need to be doing.
Your focus. Like,
and
what should I be thinking about?
First things first. Like when I said, the guy said, I don't really need no money. No, you need money, bro.
Yes.
You also need to fix your credit.
Yes.
You also need to make sure that you're not making these big purchases on your credit and stuff like that. So I am looking at everything and not just the one thing. Okay, I want to buy this house because somebody else saying
said
I
it,
need
or
to.
You should be right. Now there's strategies. That's the thing. When you're dealing with an experienced realtor, right? Someone who is not just somebody who cares. Who cares, right? Because we all have to start somewhere,
right?
But with experience, this comes as how to have the conversation, right? What is your goal? If you notice often, especially in captions, like our Instagram captions, your call to actions are you'll see we say, I can help you reach your desired goals, or that is the truth.
Right.
What are your goals? I have that conversation with my clients. You have to tell me what are your goals because we're a team.
Right.
I can only help you get what you want. This is not me. This is for you. Right. So what exactly do you want? Right. So if you come to me and say, Taliah, I don't need you. We're talking about you, Rochelle.
Yeah.
You're 53. You don't need no big house. You raise your kids.
Yeah, I don't want no big house.
You don't need no big house. Maybe a condo is interesting to you. Maybe that's something that the conversation we could have. But what your goals is just right now, from what I'm just listening to you say, I don't really care. I'm okay with apartment living, which means a condo would be good for you. Right. And even if you did continue to lease, even if you did continue to lease, you're focused on not having a high monthly payment.
Right.
Right? There's strategies for that. You can buy an investment property. There's nothing wrong with renting as long as you own something.
Right.
Right? There's nothing wrong with renting. Renting is suitable for some people's lifestyle.
Right.
One of the main questions that we ask when someone's ready to buy a home, or the important questions that your realtor should be asking is, are you planning to live in the area for more than 3 years?
Right.
At least more than 3 years, 3 to 5 years, at least. If you're planning to move in 2 years, you shouldn't buy a house. Not to live in.
Right.
So that's the thing.
So it doesn't have to be my forever home.
It doesn't have to be your forever home. And if you're okay with apartment living, you may say, you know what? I just want an investment property, because guess what? That your investment is now paying for your lifestyle. You can live in you could live in the penthouse. You could have all the luxuries and the amenities, but as long as you have investments paying for that lifestyle, then you are living on the right side of the financial equation.
Okay, you're saying that I can live in my apartment, and I can just I can buy an investment property,
absolutely,
and not live in it.
Nope.
And have that house,
and that's income. You can do whatever you want with that income.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
it depends on what you do with the money when it comes to you.
Though.
Exactly.
I didn't even really think that. Because I
Exactly.
love my amenities now. I love
And a lot of people do, especially when you get to the empty nesters. The empty nesters don't, you guys have, you socializing, and you may not want to live in a house somewhere where you have your neighbors are far away from you. You want to be around the action. You want to be around the people. You want to mingle. You want to meet people.
Right.
Building living, an apartment building living may work for you.
I like that idea.
Exactly. So it's not, that's why I said it's not cookie cutter.
Right.
Even if the same 53, not you, another 53-year-old, maybe they have a different situation. What if they take care of their parents?
Right.
That situation may be different for them. You see what I mean? Maybe a generational home, a multi-generational home may work for them.
Right.
You see? Where you have maybe, you're buying a home and you have an in-law unit, so that may work for them. So every situation, that's why when you say, okay, what should a 53-year-old? It's always going to be based on that person's goals. Right. So that's the conversation.
So it's not the age of the person.
No,
it's the goals
it's the
of
goal.
the person.
What are your goals? And your goals are going to be based on what? When people purchase homes, the two main factors are proximity to work and schools.
100%.
Right? So lifestyle, how your lifestyle, what's going on in your life is going to determine how you make those decisions. So that's the reason why we need to find out what are your goals. Right. And you're going to figure out what your goals are based on your situation, based on your needs, based on your family's needs. And that's going to differ. Every 53-year-old is not in the same situation. Right. So it's never a cookie cutter. I never give that. It's not a general answer. Right. It's always going to be based on what are your goals. I want to help you reach your goals. Right. So you tell me what your goals are, and then I can lay out different plans based on, my knowledge and of the market and the industry that's going to match with what your goals are. Right. You see? Right.
And what I have done as well, starting from the first of the year, I have one of my friend groups. We decided before the economy is doing what it's doing, we decided to not shop this year.
Yeah. Okay.
So I have not done any shopping in terms of clothes, shoes, pocketbooks, coats, none of that. Okay. We got enough shit. Okay. So we're not, we decided that we have enough shit.
Trying, girl.
Honestly. I mean, I had an event to go to last month, and it was a event for MS, right? Okay, so I had to wear orange, brown, cream, burgundy. And I went in my closet. I had to dig, but I had stuff. That happens. Like I had stuff. So I've been able to pay off a credit card.
Wow, good for you.
I'm on my next credit. I got 4 credit cards I need to pay off this year.
Wow.
I've combined all of my
You consolidated your
debt? Taxes. My taxes. Okay. I called to see how much I owe from 2018.
You
still had stuff.
They didn't
$2,000, $3,000, a couple $1,000 that's laying around from 2018 to now. And I'm being super transparent. I was on the phone with the IRS for 2 hours.
Yeah, because every time you call them, you're going to be on the phone.
For real. I was on the phone because I had time. Yeah. And I said, I want to figure this thing out.
Okay.
I figured it all the way out.
Really?
She emailed me a form that I had to print out and scan it and send it back to her. I wound up consolidating everything from 2018 to the current.
Wow.
Right? And I paid one payment.
Okay. Oh, so they allowed you to consolidate your taxes
all of them,
and made one payment.
And make one payment on all the money, all the years that I owe them. Okay. That's going to come directly out of my account. I just set it and forget it.
Good for you.
Right?
Good for you.
Done with this debt. I cannot do it anymore. Yeah. And as much money as I make as a hairstylist, doing this for 30 years, I want to be able to live however the fuck I want to live.
That's the goal, financial freedom.
I do, and I know that I can do it. We've been having this conversation for years. And it's not like I haven't been a homeowner before. I was a homeowner before. I know exactly what it is that if I'm going to buy, this is what I want.
And buying a home doesn't automatically make you financially free.
No, it doesn't.
That is not the automatic
unless you're free in the other spaces in your life as well.
That's the thing.
You cannot. The home is just not going to make you financially free.
That's why you want to have healthy credit. Because that means you have some control over your debt, right? You have to make healthy choices and have a healthy, financial lifestyle.
Right. Well, let's talk about healthy credit too, right?
Yes.
Let's take one step at a time. When we're talking about healthy credit, right? American Express was my man. When I tell you, my
tell you the
man,
relationship
my
that I
man, he was the best man I ever had. American Express is the best man I ever had.
Goodness. You
And when I tell you what that American Express did to me, it put me in a mindset that I can do whatever I want to do, whenever I want to do it, however much it costs, whenever, right?
You know, we don't play
Until
about
the end of the month. When it comes up and I got a $10,000 bill, a $15,000 bill, a $20,000, I don't even know how the hell I was even paying that shit sometimes. How am I coming up with $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 at the end of the month to pay to my man, American Express?
To pay to my man.
To pay my man. Pay my man. I want to get out, because if I can pay $10,000,
imagine what you can do.
Imagine what I can do.
Debt really consumes you.
It really does.
It constrains.
It gives you a false sense of security.
Yes.
So false.
And you made a really good point. If you can pay $10,000 a month in credit card debt, imagine if that freed up.
Yep.
That means imagine what you could do with that $10,000.
Imagine.
Imagine.
I think about it. That's why my no shopping thing, I'm gonna tell you, Taliah.
Is that to save money? This
it's so I can get out of this debt.
Okay.
I'm getting out of this debt.
Okay.
And I'm saving. I'm saving and I'm getting out of debt.
But I always say you can't save if you have debt. To me, you don't have no money if you have debt.
But being that we're in this economy, right?
True.
I feel like, I still have my daughter here.
Yeah.
I still have to have a little something.
Yes, that's
God
true.
forbid.
A little nest egg.
Anything happen.
Absolutely.
That's the only reason why I would take my whole savings and just pay this off. But this economy is not making me feel confident and secure. On just paying my stuff off like that.
You need access
so
to
I'm
cash.
doing it in intervals so I can make sure that me and my daughter can eat.
Yes.
I can make sure that I can pay my rent and I can make sure I got money for gas.
It's true.
Because everything is just so expensive. And this whole thing is trickling down. Like, I don't have as many clients as
because people
I used to.
Yeah.
Now people are coming, but they're coming slower.
And not as frequent.
They're not coming as frequent.
Exactly.
They're not.
People are making choices that make more sense to them.
Yes, they are.
Braids.
Like even my like my nails, my lashes, my wax, and my this, that.
Yeah.
I go once a month.
Yeah. It's not as often as you go. Yes, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I used to go twice. Or anytime I see a little chip, I'm like, oh no. Now I'd be like, no, it's all right.
I can do it.
It look all right. It look all right.
Like, listen, I'm not going back. I just was there last week.
Too bad. That ain't too bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because our money, we got to be very mindful about how we're spending our money.
It's true. So and those are the first things that people cut out.
Yeah. First things.
The beauty services. It's
first
like,
things,
okay,
beauty services. They don't need it as often.
I can get a protective hairstyle. I can get braids. I can get, something that's going to last me a little longer. I'll do a strip. I'll do, I don't know. So it's true.
And I always tell people, it's like I'm going to tell you, this is the age of information. If you can sell information right now, you should be selling information because people want to know how you did it.
And
what are you doing?
And how
is it working for you?
Yeah.
And just to answer that, me, no shopping. What am I? 2.5 months clean. I'm 2.5 months clean.
Oh, since you started January 1st.
Started January 1st. Okay. I'm 2.5 months clean. And I've been able to do some things.
So much things. Yeah.
I've been able to pay some stuff off.
Wow.
So by the end of this year, I want to be at the end of the podcast where, hey y'all,
I took
0 balances on all my stuff.
It took me a year. I did a year of non-spending. Yeah.
A year of non-spending.
And that's what I was able to do.
Yeah.
To be able to tell your success story. Yeah, because that's going to help others.
Absolutely.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
But it takes discipline, just like anything else. That's why I say even with when you're preparing to purchase a home, I always say prepare. People. I think that it is if people self-sabotage, I don't think that they realize that.
They do.
People also like to regurgitate what they hear. Oh, he said interest rates is high. Oh, home prices is too high right now. And it just is rhetoric.
Right.
Because there's no basis behind it. Okay, what's your plan then?
Right.
I don't like to spend a lot of time talking about, I'm a solution-based person. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about the problem.
Right.
I don't want to trump, I don't want what are we doing? What are you going to do to change your situation? Here's what it is. Let's sit down and actually map out what you can do.
Right.
Figure out, and you have to think about that. What is your income looking like? Are you in a situation? Are you in a 2-person household? Is it only you? How are you going to increase your income? Do you need to get another job? Do you need to add some sort of side job, side hustle? Building a business, something else. What is it? What does your future look like? Are you going to be taking some sort of course so that you can get a promotion, or how are you going to increase your income? Right. So sit down and map that out. Don't just talk about the things that people are saying, because that's just talk.
Exactly.
How is that helping you?
But it's just like people talking about the price of fucking eggs. Okay, eggs are high.
Yeah.
But you know what I do? I go in there. Okay, eggs are what, $6.48 a dozen or whatever.
$7
I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna buy a dozen of eggs, but I'm only gonna eat 1 egg a day.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to be talking about, I'm not going to buy eggs because
no, you're just going to have discipline.
And I said, I'm going to eat an egg. My daughter going to eat an egg. You can't eat 2 eggs a day.
Instead of 2 a piece, it's going to be 1 a piece.
They got the people standing in the Trader Joe's, make sure you only buy 1 carton.
Yeah, I saw the sign too. Because they put a sign up and people weren't listening.
And they wasn't listening.
So now they're enforcing it.
Exactly.
Because
so
it's ridiculous.
Just like you said, regurgitating information.
But what are you going to do about it? People just like the way
this shit sounds.
Thank you.
People just like the way it sounds. What are you going to do?
What are you? I'm telling you, they like the self-sabotage, and also it's like the fear mongering. I saw one of the questions you put something about the housing crisis. That's also like a fear mongering. I don't like to say, yes, there are challenges, but there's always been challenges.
It's always
when the interest rates was low, I told you there was 50 people bidding on one house.
Yeah.
That's a challenge. What other challenges? Like, we can figure, there's going to always be challenges, right?
Exactly.
How are you going to position yourself to be able to come out on top?
Exactly.
That's what we want to talk about. We don't want to talk about all the problems. How we position ourselves. You are taking steps forward. You're like, okay, I need to, I need to be debt free. I am limiting my spending. I'm cutting out my spending completely.
Right.
Someone else may need to limit their spending. Maybe, when I'm talking, when that client is having that conversation with that lender partner about their monthly income, maybe their monthly comfortability is $3,000. But have you thought about something you could cut out?
Right.
Maybe you can cut out something.
People don't want to cut out nothing.
That's the thing. So you want to buy a house, but you still want to try. You want to go to 5 vacations this year. You have to give up if you're not financially sound that way. Or if you don't have a high income, not just a high income, but what you have, your net, like what you have after you pay your bills.
Exactly.
If you're not in a situation where you're doing very well, you need to figure out what do you need to sacrifice for how bad do you want the goal? Are you just saying that you want the goal because the people said you should buy a house?
Right.
So instead of you saying you want to buy a house and then you giving all the reasons why you didn't buy the house. Because you're really self-sabotaging.
Yeah. And I think we're always in a crisis.
Absolutely.
Even if it's not an economic crisis, we always in some type of crisis. It's something that's always going on where we have to pivot.
Absolutely.
Where we have to learn how to pivot, and what does it mean, and what does it look like, and when should we start? Right? And how long it's going to last. Because we already know. For these next, I'm going to say, people saying for these next 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to say for these next 8 years.
Absolutely.
Because whatever he's putting in place now is going to trickle down to the next president.
Right.
Right? And then we're going to be still living through all the things that he has changed throughout these next 4 years.
The economic changes that are happening now are going to be in effect we are getting ready to have a separation of wealth. And you have to figure out what side you want to be on it. And I don't have time to talk about what the crisis is. Well, let's figure out a plan.
How are we going to make some more money?
How are we going to make some more money? And you can't get the house with the pool in the 5-bedroom. No. You may have to buy maybe you have to buy the condo and then work your way up to the single family.
Maybe you got to buy the co-op.
Maybe you should buy the co-op. Maybe buy the co-op. And I don't always, co-op is depending on the type. Most co-ops are like this, but there's a lot of rules, and sometimes they're not great investments. But I also they're not because of the restrictions, right?
Okay.
But I would prefer you to own a co-op than rent an apartment if that is your only path to ownership, right? Let's explore that. Maybe because you're still going to gain equity and you're going to have something you still have an asset. No, you don't own in real estate because, co-ops are not real estate. They are owning shares in a company, but you still own something. Okay. And you can take you still can take that asset and sell it. Okay.
I always wondered what was the difference between a co-op and a condo?
That's the difference.
So you don't own.
That's the major difference.
Okay. So say that one more time.
So the major difference between a co-op and a condo is a co-op, you own shares in a company. You do not own real estate. You own shares in a company, and as a part of being an owner or being a shareholder in that company, you get a 99-year proprietary lease to occupy one of the units in the building, because the building is the company, right? So that is how it's set up. You own shares in a company, and as that shareholder, you now are able to occupy one of the units in the building for 99 years. A condo, you own the actual, so let's say this was a condo, you own the apartment itself, but you don't own the land around it. You just own the actual four walls and with everything contained inside of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that, I think that you touched on something very important, discipline. That's what it's going to take. And that's what it takes to buy a home. Discipline. Unless you just, make $5 million a year, you have, $5 million saved, you could pretty much go buy a home wherever you want to buy a home, but if most people, the majority of society are, middle class, lower middle class, are pretty much, fighting to live, or, barely make enough to, what's the average? Barely $1,000 saved or something like that. The average person doesn't have $1,000 saved. And that's like, I think is a high percentage. I believe like 80% or 90% or something like that. Most people cannot survive, an emergency if something happened, if somebody got sick, with that, it went outside of like insurance or whatever. People can't afford it.
Yeah.
So
and your emergency fund is very important.
That you were talking about.
And that's what I was saying is that I would go ahead and just pay off everything.
Let's say you didn't have any.
Right.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of me having an emergency is 100%. And you don't know when it's going to come. That's why it's called an emergency.
That's exactly what the rainy day. You'll never know when a rainy day going to come.
You don't know.
You do not know.
You don't know.
Yep.
You don't know. And when people are buying these homes, right? I hear people say that they want to, pay off their loan in 15 years, but they really have a 30-year mortgage.
Right.
What does that mean, really? Like, how is that possible?
There's a way to do that.
Okay.
You can take there's a way you can cut some time off of your, the length of your loan.
But that's some discipline, though, right?
Is discipline? It depends on what type, how much, how much money you have that's available to you, where you can take that extra cash and now send it to the lender. So if you make one extra loan payment on your one extra mortgage payment
a year,
but it has to be sent to the lender separate from your monthly payment. It needs to be sent to the principal. So you want to call your lender and say, hi, I would like to make a payment towards my principal. How do I do that? If you send in a check, they're going to tell you the check should say principal, payment towards principal. You have to write that on the check.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you do it online, and maybe another process, but I know if you do it on a check, you have to write payment to the principal. And then they may even have a different mailing address. I'm not sure, but that's your first step. You want to call your lender and ask them, how do I make a payment towards my principal? Because if you just send an extra payment, it's going to go towards
everything.
The taxes, the insurance. Exactly. So now when you send this one extra payment towards your principal, that cuts down your principal, your total principal, the total amount owed on just the loan, not your interest. So the less amount you owe on the actual loan, the less your payment is, because there's less interest. Your interest is being charged on the amount.
Right.
So if 5% interest on, $5,000 is going to be more than 5% interest on $4,500.
Right.
So
so that's one strategy. So you're gonna pay
one extra payment,
one extra payment a year towards the principal.
It knocks off between 5 and 7 years off of your loan.
Wow.
Right. So imagine if you did that three times a year. Three different times. Three
different
years,
times.
3 in a row.
But then think about it. If you did do it 3 times a year, think about if we did it every quarter.
Imagine.
Every quarter.
That's just one payment a year. Imagine you could do it 3 times in a year. But we're also talking
about maybe not going out a couple of nights.
That's what I'm saying, a sacrifice.
That's a whole nother strategy, right? Maybe not going out maybe not shopping, maybe not buying the Louis Vuitton bag.
Right.
Maybe not buying the boots. Maybe not the fur coat this year because you got 6.
Maybe not the $1,500 wig. Maybe not the 6 fur coat.
But when you think about it, it's a whole bunch of different strategies instead of sitting back and just complaining about how bad the economy is doing.
What can you do?
What can we do?
Yes. Now, like I said, I understand there are some people who are working 3 jobs. They have, 3 kids, and they're just barely making it. Their situation is different. That conversation is different. We're talking about people who are doing a lot of excess spending.
Yes.
that they don't realize. You're not thinking it. It's just lifestyle. Hair, nails, every 2 weeks hair.
Writing everything down.
Exactly.
That's
another
what
thing.
I had to do.
That's another thing.
I had
makes you do that.
Writing everything down.
NACA makes you do that.
Yeah.
Because they have that's what part of their program, preparing you for home ownership.
But I'm gonna be honest with you.
What?
My sister took me to NACA.
Oh, Tamika, right?
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, because they make you.
I wasn't
ready. Your business.
No, I wasn't ready.
They get you business,
ready. I was not ready. And this was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. She
when she got hers, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. She said, "Ro, you should go. You should go. You should go." And I said, oh, "Okay, cool." I just wasn't ready to make the sacrifice. I wasn't ready to have these people all up in my business telling me what to do. I just wasn't ready.
I went through the program so I could have the knowledge and information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wasn't ready.
What the book. I know what those sheets look like.
So strict.
They do not play. I'm talking about every dollar.
Very strict.
Every
dollar. Now may be a good time for me.
Because now you're ready.
Because now I'm ready.
This is what I mean. You can only bring the house to the water. You can't make a drink.
Nope.
You have to be ready. People don't be ready. People say they're ready. So what I say is I want clients have to be ready, willing, and able.
Yep.
Right? So you may be ready, but are you willing? Or you may be willing, but are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
And are you able? Able is financial, the financial part of it, right? Yeah. When I send you to the lender partner, that tells me, my lender, that he's going to tell me if you're actually able to purchase this home or purchase a home. Right. And a lot of times it's location. We live in a very expensive part of the country. Right. Some people can't, because of job, because of family, they just can't get up and, move. Right. Right.
And a lot of people are losing their jobs right now. It's so much uncertainty.
So much uncertainty. But you may have somebody that can transfer. Maybe they, work for, a company where they can just transfer to a different state. Mm-hmm. That may be an option. Yeah. You have to, or do you want to stay, you may have more options if you move, to an area that the home prices aren't as expensive. The taxes aren't as expensive. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that is time, place, location. Mm-hmm. It makes sense.
Right. And don't be afraid to make that pivot, y'all, because
I'm telling you, that's the major thing I see people do. They get stuck on, oh, I can't buy that. I really wanted a 3-bedroom. A condo. Mm-hmm. But that's too, I have some people, when people are serious, they are like, listen, I may have to drive an hour and a half to work. I have to figure it out, but I'm tired of renting. I have a client right now. She's like, I am tired. I am ready. And when I tell you she's ready, she's making all of the steps. I can tell she's ready because she's doing things that are not even, she's doing things before we even ask her to do them. Right. You know what I mean? She is ready. When she told me during our consultation that she is ready to stop renting. I am ready to be a homeowner. I'm ready to stop wasting my money. And she is making the steps towards that. Right. That we're going to be able to tell if you're ready. Mm-hmm. You may say you are, but you have to show the proof is in the pudding. Mm-hmm. What are you actually doing? What are you putting for? What are you sacrificing? Right. And you have to be okay with it not looking like, and I try to have that conversation too, like be okay with it not looking like you thought it was going to look,
Exactly. Get out of the way of it.
Get out of your way.
Because your friends are not trying to buy a home. You are trying to buy a home.
Exactly.
And because your friends are traveling, your friends are shopping, and I see my friends all the time. Mm-hmm. All the time. They buying stuff all the time. They be like, oh, look at this, look at this. I don't even want to look. I took the apps off my phone.
You deleted the app?
Oh, yeah, I took the apps off my phone. Because I'm really serious.
You're serious. Yeah, you dedicating yourself.
Like, I don't want to be saying that I can't afford to live in this certain place if I'm spending all this damn money on clothes, shoes, pocketbooks, this and that.
Yeah. How can I not afford it when you look at what you're spending?
I don't even understand it in my brain.
Yeah. How can I not afford it?
I don't understand.
That's why what you said is important, writing it down.
You got to write it down.
Because when you write it down, like you said, how they do it, you'll be like, oh my God, $500 on just eating out? Yep. $500, $700 on just, you don't even realize the amount of money you're spending.
You don't
frivolously
realize it.
Yep.
You don't realize. And I started nickel and diming myself. Yep. I'm like, oh, I don't want to spend, because I was going to go out last night to eat. I said, no, I think I'm going to cook. No, I think I'll go out another day. Because I give myself one day a week that I want
you go out.
I will go out. So I'm just like, I got to figure out what that day is going to be. So I haven't totally
and it may change from
deprived myself, but I have like really tweaked my spending on how I'm spending my money because I want to be out of debt.
Makes sense.
I want to be out. What I got, 9 more months?
Yep.
Now more money.
For
When
your
you
third
think
month.
about it, I'm about to have a whole baby.
Yeah.
In 9 months.
A whole debt-free baby. Definitely a debt-free baby.
A whole baby. Whole baby.
No, it's important. You have to be disciplined. I always say that's the basis. I mean, that's the basis of everything, right? To reach our goals, right? That is the basis. You have to be disciplined. They just don't fall in your lap.
No.
You know, these people that are wealthy, people that have, done great things, they sacrificed. They were disciplined and they made a decision and they said, this is what I'm going to do.
Right.
It takes sacrifice. It's not going to just fall in your lap. I'm sorry. Unless you win the lottery or something, so.
So what you're dealing with people buying homes every single day, what is the number one thing you're hearing people say about what they need and what they want?
But, just people, just clients, just in general.
Just because I know people are so fearful. People are so afraid.
Definitely.
So, like, what are they saying and what are you doing? And what are you doing to support them?
I would say that people are most fearful about the interest rates.
Should we be chasing interest rates?
No. Remember, I just said no. I had that conversation with don't think about think about the affordability. That's what we always go back to your affordability. So that's not that's what we want to focus on. People are also, not cash heavy. So they're worried about, not having the money to buy. But I always tell, first-time home buyers, you do have the, option of down payment assistance. You should start putting yourself in a position to save some money, but if you don't have the ability to save some sort of money per month, you're probably going to be strapped thin, right? When you purchase a home anyway.
Yeah.
You don't want it. So you need to actually have some sort of flexibility when it comes to, excess cash, because when you buy a home, you don't have a super that's going to handle all your repairs anymore. You're going to need some money. You're going to need some money. You may have a leak. You may have any little thing. You have to pay for this out of pocket.
Right.
So you need to at least have some sort of reserve or the ability to be able to build some sort of reserve.
Right. Because if you've been in an apartment all your life and now all of a sudden you in this house, you can't call Mr. Tom to come and fix this.
You cannot call Mr. Tom to come and fix
Mr. Tom and be like, oh, and can you come fix this? This broke, that broke. That has to come out of pocket. I need my
painted. Everything is out of pocket.
Right.
And even if you buy a brand new construction, people think, if I buy a brand new home, there's still things to do. There's still things to do.
So I got to have the emergency fund when I have this house. I have to have, if something break fund happen to this house. If something
a replacement.
The house. Then they got to have something break with my car.
Mechanicals.
Yeah. Something happening to the kids. It's so many different emergency funds that you have to have when you're in home ownership.
Yep.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. So I would say usually, I think what the last few years have done to people's credit is really scary. So I know the way we support, my team supports my clients is, my lender partner will do a whole credit simulation and tell you what you need to do to prepare. And you, based on, look at your credit, look at your debt and tell you how much money you would need to pay down on your debt in order to be ready. Right. And based on that number, you would tell, us, okay, I'm going to need 5 months. I'm going to need 6 months. I'm going to need a year. So that's how we support. I support my clients, me and my team. We support our clients by, helping them prepare, right? It's not just, I'm sorry, you're not approved. And then we just move to the next client. No, this is how you can prepare. Put this together. This is how you put that together. This is how you map this out. This is what your credit looks like. This is what your debt looks like. Giving you a full scope of what it looks like for you to be prepared for home ownership. And remember, you're telling us what your monthly comfortability is.
Exactly.
So we're basing it off of that, right? This is what you say you can pay comfortably. This is going to buy you this much. This is what your purchase price is going to be based on that number you gave me. And your credit, this is what your credit shows. And this is why you can't get the home be approved right now because of your, this debt. So when you give me that number, you give us that number or the lender that number, you should be including. You should not be going into purchasing a home in bad debt anyway.
Right.
With a mountain of debt. You should at least have a plan to pay that off, right? So, we're going to help you with that, mapping that out. But that monthly budget that you're given, that should include being able to pay your monthly expenses and then also being able to save a little money, being able to have for your emergency fund, maybe for, the little things, the small percentage, what they say about 20% of your, income should go to like your leisure, things of leisure. So, that should be including you. It's really this is serious.
It's a serious process.
Right.
And I'm going to give you guys another strategy, something that I have done. I line up my cards and I said, okay, I'm going to make sure I pay down 70%. On each card,
right? Because that's the sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot, because that's when 10% is best.
10% utilization, but 30% is the sweet spot.
Is a sweet spot. So the reason why I'm saying the 70% is that's when you're going to start seeing your credit score go higher.
Yes.
Once you're under that 70%, you're going to start seeing the credit score like, okay. And paying on time. And paying on time.
And I believe the hack is the statement date. Paying this by the statement date, not the due date.
Not the due date.
The statement date.
Exactly.
Call your call your creditor, your credit card company, and ask them what your statement date is. Or I think you look on your statement and can see that as well. You call them or you look on your statement, and if whatever your statement date is, make that payment by that date. That's another hack.
So pay by your statement date to lower your credit.
30% utilization.
And 30% utilization on the card.
So you should only...
All cards. Do not max out your card.
So you should only owe 30%. If you have a $1,000 limit, you should only owe $300.
That's it.
Spend $700, you pay that $700 back.
100.
You should only have, by the next month, by the time you're
before the statement
date, right? Not the due date.
The statement date.
The statement date. Because that's when they close out. The statement date is when they close out that month, and now the new month starts.
Exactly.
So usually your due date is like a week or two after the statement date. So you want to do it when it closes out, because you want to catch it before it goes into the next month.
So how I remember mine's, because my most of my bills are due on the 15th.
Okay.
So I make sure I pay by the 9th or the 10th.
Okay, yes.
Somewhere around between the 8th, 9th, and 10th is when I pay.
That's smart, right?
Because then that way you're gonna hit it definitely before
on the state, right? Before it actually closes, before the month closes out, right? Exactly.
Before the month closes
out. So you can make sure you stay, because you want to stay under that utilization, at it or under, obviously.
Right. Exactly. At the 30% or under the 30%.
At the 30% or under 30%. But that's when, like you said, that's when you'll start to see a significant change in your score.
In your credit score.
Over some months, you'll start seeing that. When your utilization stays at that 30% and continues to stay, and you're paying your bill at the statement date, you'll see a significant change in your score.
Right. And that credit score being high is also very helpful when you're buying everything.
Oh, first of all,
everything.
My homegirl, it's more expensive.
She pays like $700 more on her card note because of her credit score. $700 more. Like, that's crazy. That's insane.
That is insane.
So it's just like
what?
Like the credit score. This is the United States of America. It's about credit.
It's about credit.
It's about credit.
It's not
always about money. It's definitely about credit, though.
Definitely about credit.
Because it speaks a lot about your character.
Yes, and how trustworthy you are. The lender doesn't know you. The bank don't know you. All they know is your habits. Right. And your credit shows them your habits. And if your habits...
I like that. All they know is your habits.
All they can see is what your habits are. I don't care if you just forgot to pay the bill, but you got the money. That means that you're not on top of your business. Because it doesn't matter if you have the money if you forgot to pay the bill. That means something about you is not making that a priority. That's what's more important. I have a lot of lease clients that come and they, when they... reach out to my leasing agent and they are discussing, their credit score, and, they're like, my credit score is low, but, I have the money. We are always like, well, if you have the money, why is your credit not in better standing? I just don't get it. And I've seen it. I've seen clients make $100,000, $150,000, but that doesn't always mean anything.
Trauma. It's childhood trauma. Yep. It's childhood. Because I know for me, it took me a really long time, because I will hold on to my money to the last day until 12:45 at night before the last second. But it's the same money if you pay it 5 days before, if you pay it 5 days late. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
why be late if you have the money?
Why wait? And also, why put it off? Why put off what you can do now to tomorrow?
It's a childhood trauma.
Also,
I'm telling you,
I found that just because you make whatever amount of money you think is a lot of money doesn't mean you have a lot of money.
Exactly.
Right. And people say, I make the money. You clearly don't, because you're paying minimum balance on your car, or you don't see the importance of keeping your credit healthy. Either way, that says to the lender, you're not organized. You don't have discipline. Right. You careless. All of those things come up because it doesn't matter if you have the money because you're not prepared. You're not preparing yourself, and you're not putting yourself in a position where, that is priority for you.
Right.
So that's all they see. They don't see anything else. They don't know you. They don't know, oh, I really have the money. I just forgot. They don't know that.
No.
All they know is what it says here is you paid late.
No. Right. And my homegirl, that's so crazy that you said that, because my homegirl said the same thing. It's not that she doesn't have the money, that she don't pay.
That's insane.
I just
so
forgot.
You have the money, you just forgot.
I just forgot.
That's why they have auto pay.
Like, really?
That's why they have auto pay.
Because if you know the money is coming in, you got direct deposit as well. Just set it and forget it.
But it's also like, not just that direct deposit, auto pay. We got $1,000 phones that have reminders.
Yeah.
Like, so imagine you telling a lender, oh my God, I just forgot.
Yeah.
With all of these systems that we have in place to remind you.
Forgot.
Like all of these systems that we have in place, this is not 50 years ago.
Right.
We have many systems that you can put in place that will remind you, that can pay it for you. Now we have auto pay. We didn't have that 50 years ago.
No.
You have auto pay now. And no, we don't. I'm the same way. I don't like the people taking my money. I like to give it to them. But if you are a forgetful person, see, I'm very organized. So that works for me. I don't need auto pay. And I do have auto pay on some things because I can't, it's too much.
Too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
But if you're a type of person that you're forgetful and you got a lot going on, you should utilize that. You can't say, no, I don't want them to take what's more important.
Right.
So they're looking at that. If you're not
I got everything set up on auto pay.
And that's
because all I want to worry about is
the things that's not
getting the money in the bank. Like, that's it. That's all I worry about is getting the money in the bank. And I have on my calendar when these things are due, and it's going to give me the reminder.
That's another thing.
Reminding me, you got to make sure you put the $800 in there.
That's what I'm saying.
Because the thing coming out on Monday.
That's what I'm saying.
You got to make sure the health insurance is coming out on Tuesday. You got to make sure
I have
that set up to make sure that I'm putting enough money in the bank.
Put it into place. Put it in place. Put it either the reminder, don't do the auto pay, but do whatever you have to do. But your habits are going to speak for you.
Right.
And like you said, you need decent credit. The better your credit, the cheaper your things will be.
Right.
It's serious. Like
the better your life is going to be.
The cheaper things, for acquisition, for you to acquire things, it will be cheaper when your credit is good.
Right. 100%. 100%.
It's the truth. I don't care what you're buying, a car, a house.
My best friend don't put down payments on nothing. My best friend credit is A1 credit. She's had, her and her husband had A1 credit basically all their life.
Wow, yeah.
800 something.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it go to 800.
Yeah, my credit is in 800 too.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah, my credit been in 800 for a long time. I don't got it.
It's 800.
Yes, I can give you any type of thing. A loan.
I am going to be there, and when I get there, I'm going to post it on Instagram, Facebook,
TikTok.
Gonna be like,
I'm going to be so proud. I'm going to be so proud. I'm going to be so proud. Like, you in 800, we going to party.
Yeah, so I'm going to be calling. I'm going to be calling you because I need an accountability partner.
Yes, okay.
And I need to talk to somebody to understand what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Understanding my process.
Yes, your process.
And I'm asking you guys, make sure you get somebody that's doing what you're doing.
Accountability is very important. Yes.
That understand what you're doing.
When you said, look at what your lifestyle is, what you're doing in your lifestyle, and what you can cut out because your friends are not buying the house.
No.
Or who, maybe find some people that are about purchasing homes.
Yeah.
Something. Maybe people that just purchased a home. I don't know.
Give a different little friend group.
You don't need to leave those other friends. No. But find another support group.
They serve the purpose
that they serve. But find
the purpose
people
that they serve. But
be aligned. Get some people that are in alignment
with people.
Yes.
Get in alignment with people that are moving in the direction that you are moving in.
Yes. Oh my God, I say that all the time. Get in the company and have people around you who are supporting what you're doing, because not just, go ahead and do that, because they are doing it as well, or they did it. People that you can learn from. It's very important. Support is important. You cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
Even if you're paying for it alone, you sometimes need the support to be able to know it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like you said, if you have a friend group
I got a friend group for everything. No, I do. I love that. If I'm talking about real estate or something, I know who I'm calling you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When I'm talking about buying a house in Florida, I'm calling my friend
in Florida.
Judge Karen.
Right.
That's who I'm calling.
Yep.
When
Yep.
I'm talking about buying something in New York, you know, I just got a bunch of different friend groups for different things.
It's true.
Like when I'm talking about my kids, I'm calling people that got kids.
This is true.
That can guide me.
And then kids your age, the ages that your kids are too.
Yes.
Yeah, not just the child children. Yeah.
Absolutely. So don't be afraid to pivot from these groups, y'all.
I'm telling you.
Sometimes the group that you in have never experienced what it is that you're going through.
Yeah, I had to do the same thing. You know, none of my friends were in real estate. I didn't have anyone in real estate. I had to go find my tribe. I went all the way to Chicago, like, you know, start with the real estate conference and then start, you know, build my tribe from there. Like I had to find people who were doing what I was doing, who understood. You need that. It's very important, you know? Support is very important.
This was a good talk, Taliah. I liked it. I really enjoyed it a lot because it helped me understand what I should be doing, especially you know, woman of a certain age. You know? And even if you're not of a certain age and you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your money, I felt like this was very informative.
And understanding that it's okay. Like,
and that's okay.
It's okay to not know. And it's also okay to not want the house. You don't know. You didn't.
Yeah, I don't want the house.
He was like, let me just tell you something. I don't want to buy a house.
I don't want to buy a house.
That's fine. We're going to get you an investment property, girl. Because we're going to have that investment property. Then you're going to be, that's going to pay for all of the apps that you deleted. They're going to be, never get them again.
Exactly.
That's all we want. We want you, you know, that's what it is. It's just understanding that it's okay. We want it's what your goals are is the most important thing. That it's not a cookie cutter situation. You know, don't feel, oh my God, I'm 53. I don't own a house anymore. You also have owned houses. You've done that.
I had that experience.
You've had that experience already. You don't need that. What you were worried about now is financial freedom, and you're on the way to it. Why? You haven't purchased an investment property yet, but you are putting yourself in a position too because you are clearing your debt. So now when you come to go to the table to go buy this investment property, we can say, you know, my lender partner is going to say, oh, when he looks at your A1 credit, you know, and now you're going to be in a better position, you know, to have a better, you know, rate and all these, you know, all of these things because you are, you know, your credit score is in a healthy space now, and you also have more available cash to you. You know, your reserves. When you buy investment properties, you have to have a reserve. They look at, you have to have, I believe, 3-month reserve of the mortgage. When you're buying an investment property, it's 20% down. And there's some flexibility to that. You know, I have my lender partner can get you, depending on, you know, what type of loan and things like that. There is some flexibility there, but there is no 3.5%, 5% down. When you're buying an investment property, it's usually about 20%. Somewhere between 10 and 20%.
So that's good to know.
Exactly.
That's more money I got to save.
This is my point. And they're looking for reserves. You can't go buy an investment property with nothing in the bank.
So 20% down plus 3 months reserves.
Plus 3 months reserves, right. Right. So at the time when you're ready, we'll, you know, because they're always changing things. So Fannie and Freddie Mac. So we'll look at what the averages, you know, what the guidelines are at the time. But, you know, that's a pretty general.
And
it's different.
Change.
The guidelines change. But generally, investment properties are different. It's not your primary property. You're not living there. They understand that this is an investment you're making to make money. You're not going to be living at the property. You're going to be using it as an income producing, you know, asset. So it's set up different. The barrier to entry is a little higher.
Would it be a little different if I do live in the property and I have...
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if you're buying, you can buy an investment property as a first-time home buyer. Absolutely. When you're living in one of the units, could be your first. You're still a first-time home buyer. Yep. And then there's a loan program for that. There's many different, you know, programs depending on what it is that you're doing. But when you're buying an investment, it can be an investment property if you're living there, but it's still your primary home. Right. So
got it. This was good, Taliah.
Yes, it was.
I feel like it's light at the end of the tunnel and it's not a train.
No. It is. I'm so happy. I didn't know that you were. This is great. Because like I said, now with the strategy that we're doing, like you're going to be in a really good position. And that's first. Like, why would you be going to buy a house with $100,000 debt and, you know, not having the ability to save any money and be, you know, being stretched thin every month. Why would you even want to be able to take another, you know, some responsibility like that on? Because you can't just get out your lease. This is This is a different situation.
Yeah.
That's another reason why sometimes it's that the decision is not for everybody.
Right.
You can't just break a lease and it's just like, oh, I just broke the lease, or maybe they, maybe they sent you to court, maybe they didn't because you broke your lease, or maybe you just had to pray to break your lease.
Right.
That's the only penalty. There's serious penalties when you cannot afford your home.
Right.
Foreclosure will affect your credit negatively for a very long time. And it's you can't do anything, much of anything when you have a foreclosure on your credit. So, this is going to put you in a really good position. So I'm very proud of you.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
And this is Women History Month.
Yes, it is.
And this really,
empowering.
It's so much sisterhood.
Yes.
That I do have someone to call.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people feel like they don't have anyone to call because everything is so private.
That's true too.
You gotta open up to somebody.
To somebody. Not everybody necessarily, but to somebody. You have to have that accountability partner, that tribe who understands what you're going through, right? That's why it's important to have people around you who are doing the things you're doing, who are on the path that you're on, the journey that you're on, or have already been through that journey, So, because we talk, this conversation we have
all the time.
Okay, so Leah, now I got a proof of this. What should I do? I don't know if I'm gonna. I think when I want to buy, I think I'm gonna just go to Florida.
Yeah.
You just throw things around and we have the conversation. It's important. Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's hard to have these conversations with people that don't really have any money. Because when you're saying, oh, something costs $10,000, something costs $30,000, $20,000, they looking at you like you crazy because they're like hundredaires. They're like hundredaires, and then you need to talk to some thousandaires that can understand the lingo.
You want to talk to the people that have the money. You want to talk to people that right, exactly. You want to talk to people that have the money. That's like it can happen. You can get there.
You can get there, and you can do this. That's gonna push you, and that's gonna motivate you.
Yes,
and have the information and the resources for you.
Because remember, when people don't, the thousandaires and the hundredaires, a lot of times they don't realize it, but they're putting their fears on you.
Yeah.
Oh, they're, short. Oh no, you can't do that. You can't, so it's fearful for them that it doesn't seem attainable.
Right.
But when you're talking to people that have done it, they're going to make you seem like,
oh yeah, girl, you could just.
That's absolutely possible.
You can get that done in 3 months.
You can get that. Yeah, this is possible. And you get that, you can get $1 million loan. And when you do that, you can get, and make it seem completely,
Yeah, like it's just
like
nothing.
It's just,
Oh yeah, I do this all the time.
Yeah, this is easy. Yeah. It's easy when it is easy when you have the right discipline. When you have discipline, period. So absolutely.
Okay. This has been good, Taliah.
Yes, it has.
This has been
great
so
talk,
good.
Great talk.
It's a lot of good gems.
Yes.
Make sure that you guys subscribe and share. And if this is your first time here, welcome.
Hello,
and please come back.
Yes. Yes. And let us know. If there's any thing that we missed.
Anything that you need to know, make sure you comment. And I always answer the comments.
Absolutely.
Taliah always answers
the comments.
She's in the comments.
Yes, absolutely. And we may think about, we'll do another session
absolutely.
If you guys have, if there's enough.
Quarterly.
Yeah. If there's enough, because things always change and the market's always changing. So it may be a good idea to do it quarterly.
And we always need support.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So by next quarter, I'll be 6 months free of shopping. So I'll let y'all know how that's going.
And then we can check the rates. I think the last time I checked a few days ago, we're lower than 7%. We're under 7% now.
Oh, we're under 7%.
We've been at 7% for a few months.
Okay, great.
So I think we're at like 6, 7 now, just for FHA, I believe. And so, things change. So it may be the market changes all the time. It's ever changing. So strategy has to change when the market changes. So it may be good, so if you guys have questions, let us know. We can, put something together again.
Definitely. And I'll definitely put Taliah's information in the show notes. And this has been grand. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next quarter with more real estate.
Yes, we'll be back.
See you next time.